Good evening, friends, and welcome to yet another very exciting session with Desh Kapoor. Welcome, Desh.
Thanks, Jadev. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, friends, today's first topic we'll be talking about the Bihar election is just a few weeks, and it looks very, very bad for the opposition, especially with Rahul Gandhi, Tejasvi Yadav, and now the latest is that Prashant Kishore has questioned the feasibility of the INDIA block. Pre-poll promised to provide one government job per family in Bihar, where assembly elections are scheduled for next week. And he took a swipe at Rahul Gandhi for skipping the alliance's manifesto release in Patna earlier this week. And the opposition Grand Alliance in Bihar released its manifesto ahead of the upcoming election with the promise of all this one government job per family in Bihar. Within 20 days, one member from every family will be given a government job. And the first of the 25 points of the manifesto said so. He has taken a swipe at Rahul Gandhi, and it's like those freebie politics that Congress is playing, like in Karnataka, how they gave free bus rides for women, also free electricity bill. If you consume less than say 200 units. So all this freebie politics that Congress is known to play, they're trying to play this game in Bihar as well, since they know that things are falling apart, especially with the way Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi Yadav, they are falling apart. So it looks very good for BJP and the NDA alliance at the moment, as far as Bihar is concerned. So how do you see this?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the problem is that these freebies are always creating issues, right? Like whether you see in Bangalore and like Karnataka as a whole or Punjab, you see that whenever these kind of politics has been done, the exchequer or the revenue, the amount that the state has always dwindles away. Now Karnataka is in a debt. So is Punjab. And Karnataka is one of the most, industrialized, or at least service, in the service sector. Like it is the biggest economy that India has. And despite that, Karnataka doesn't have funds at all. It is in debt because it has become a ATM cash machine for Congress, and they are not willing to leave that. So they throw a few doles at people, and people think this is a great way to actually live life, while their entire world actually comes down. Because now you look at Karnataka, nothing has happened in terms of infrastructure. The Bangalore is in a mess. The entire area of Karnataka is in a mess. There are so many people who are facing so much of discrimination. Hindus are being targeted all the time, and nothing of real value has happened, and corruption is increasing day by day. Punjab is also in a complete mess, and like of course it's Aam Aadmi Party, but it's the same principle that has been used there. So it's just sad. Like it is, like it is like a electoral sugar high, right? And it crashes to create massive fiscal headaches, right? Because like where will the money come from? Bihar is already running a revenue deficit of more than 3% of the GSDP, right? Their state, like domestic product, and with a debt of 38%, which is climbing, and then funding 2,500 rupees per month for millions of women could be like more than 50,000 crore annually. And this is not, I mean, we are not even like bringing in the jobs and all that, which could, really increase the payroll by lakhs of employees. And this is being promised by a government that had done land for jobs scandal earlier on. the jungle Raj that was there in Lalu's earlier times, like his people have not forgotten. And then like once this thing starts to snowball, then situation becomes even worse. I mean, the society itself goes into a big anarchy state. The revenues are not there, or the like money is not there for the state to do anything worthwhile, whether it is creating IT parks or like agricultural like opportunities. Like nothing happens. And that's what we are facing in almost all these states. The thing is, this entire strategy is called a Clovert Piven strategy. Like these were two professors who actually started this, and their idea was that um, you know push people to actually go en masse for the government schemes in such a way that it collapses the government itself, and then the national government has to do something, and you actually like if you coordinate it well enough, then you can actually bring down the national government. That was the main idea, that that social engineering becomes a way for anarchy, such that the entire nation is brought down, so that something different can happen and we can actually capture power. That was their because they were extreme leftists, and all these ideas of what has happened in, say, Wall Street, protests that were going on, and even the Arab Springs, all this was based on that Clovert Piven strategy, and it's very effective actually. So Aam Aadmi Party has also used that to a great extent. So in that sense, see, like one of the things was very clear, like even when the that Indie Alliance was created, that there was no a collective mindset. Everybody was for themselves, because their only agenda is loot and plunder. That's all they have. That's all they have ever had, right? And now, like if we think that they'll come together to do governance out of the blue, like that is not going to happen, right? That has never happened. So, like even now, I say people are sticking along in Congress despite all the things, is because they collectively they all have the mindsets of thieves and people who loot. Now, as long as Rahul Gandhi is there or the Gandhi family is there, they have like at least someone to cling on to. If tomorrow the Gandhi family went away from Congress, I can bet you that everyone will be fighting each other. Will Shashi Tharoor be ever accepted by, say, Digvijay Singh? No, no, he won't. Or like anybody else? No, like they'll keep on fighting with each other, and there would be no Congress to even speak of. Right now, there is this a charade that has been created as Congress, which is basically a conglomerate of looters and plunderers and thieves. And this is how they are, because they have never ever cared for the country or the people, and they've always took money for themselves. So that is where they are, and I'm not surprised or shocked at how they are like trying to run this. Like basically, I think like they're just trying the quick fix of the sugar high for the populace, the electorate, and then there'll be a big crash of the revenues and the money that they are going to have, and there'll be a huge debt, just like there is in Karnataka.
Yeah, a few points to be considered is that there's a lot of foreign funding, like George Soros is funding the opposition parties. You have many other forces, even the US government in a way, or the CIA, because they like to see, anarchy in India. They don't like to see the Sensex and Nifty hitting all time record highs. and Indian economy becoming stronger and stronger, while the reverse is happening in the US. So all these factors are also you have to take into consideration, isn't it?
Right. Because see, these things are, I mean, these people have been investing quite a lot. I mean, like Soros has always invested in these kind of areas, and so has the European and the American, leaders and establishment. So if you really look, I think sometime back, even like somebody from the consulate was actually visiting Bihar, and like they were trying to meet the opposition because that's what they do. So, like, I think in July sometime, the ambassador of Norway was there. Like, why would the ambassador of Norway go to Bihar? Right? Just doesn't make any sense for like that, like those guys to be there and do what? They are like talking to all kinds of like opposition leaders as well. So, so this is a very strange game that these guys play, like all over the place. Like that's why Dr. Jaishankar was saying that if my ambassadors and like council members, like council people do the same thing as you guys do in India, you guys will be up in arms. So, like whether it was Norway ambassador or the EU ambassador to India, that Delphin guy, uh, they have been like like everybody tries to do things all the time, in such areas. So it's very sad that like these guys are doing, but it is not unexpected. So I think like the current establishment and especially the intelligence agencies have been have been able to actually counter their entire machinations in these areas. And I'm sure with the current state of the opposition that they are in, I don't think they will be able to make much headway, anyways. So I think this is very important because people think that like winning elections is easy, or they keep on commenting upon how like Modi ji has like could have done more and things like that. But one doesn't understand that even winning elections in India is actually an international event because people, different forces keep impacting. Whether it was now, if you remember in 2004 when Vajpayee ji lost, that government had done a lot, and despite that they lost. How could, and they lost very badly actually at that time. And that simply happened because that there were many forces who were working at that time, whether playing up the Godra and the Gujarat riots and like everything else, or it was about like making fun of the rising India. Everything was orchestrated from outside, and it was amplified within India. So this has been their modus operandi for long, and uh, they will keep going because India is a tool, and right now it has become an even important tool. Like it was always a tool against China earlier on, or the Soviet Union, or things like that. Now it has become a very important tool against Russia, at least in the Western mind. Now, should India become just a tool, or should it become its own independent country? I think that's a question that people need to ask. That for a few rupees, will we just sell off the motherland? So I think like those are some questions that one needs to ask.
Yeah. So what is very interesting, Desh, is that HAL and Russia's United Aircraft Corporation, the UAC, has signed a landmark memorandum of understanding for the production of civil commuter aircraft SJ-100 in India. And so this is another step in how India-Russia relationship is growing stronger because of how the way Donald Trump is putting high tariffs on India, and how he is going about with his relationship with both India and Russia. So it is a huge move, isn't it?
Right. See, it becomes an even bigger move because the situation is Boeing is not that good. I mean, every other few months we see some major crash happening or some malfunction happening, simply because Boeing's entire quality standards have really fallen dramatically, and uh, its reputation around the world and the trust in what it has created is also falling. The only other alternative that real alternative that the countries have is Airbus. And so, in that sense, if there is since there is a Western aviation monopoly going forward, if there is ever any kind of, large sanctions or anything like that from the Western side, uh, we could see that, they would stop selling such aircrafts also, which is, simply for the aviation sector, the commercial aviation sector. So I think it is important that India actually creates an alternative to Airbus and Boeing. At least someone should have created. China was not fully able to create, although it has tried and done, its bit. But India can create an alternative because the entire technology is there. It's just that that needs to be taken in the right direction. So I think this SJ100 project is the perfect step at this time. So it can, I mean, you can create a lot of such aircraft which can create like regional aviation sector within the country. Tier 2, tier 3 cities connectivity that could be enhanced and improved, and there will be a lot of spin-off benefits also, right? Because just like the car sector, the auto sector, when auto sector started off during Maruti's time, there were a lot of OEM manufacturers who were there, and they just kept on growing on, and that is the reason why the other cars also came in and could be manufactured within India, because the OEM manufacturers started growing, and they started expanding, and the same thing can happen for the aviation sector now. If SJ100 manufacturing happens within India, then the indigenous avionics and component manufacturing and certification ecosystem, the entire thing for the quality manufacturing in aviation will expand. And this is not just a small thing, because it takes a lot, like, within the country to create that kind of ecosystem. So I think this is a great step, and it will really help India in terms of first stabilizing its own aviation sector, because like we have seen the Air India having so much, like so many issues with Boeing, and India is, like India has given like orders for almost uh, 500-600 aircrafts, between like the different airlines. 200 was Air India, 200 was Indigo, and then there were others. So if you really look at it, there is a big demand for such aircrafts, within India as India grows, and especially if the regional sectors grow. So I think this is going to happen at the right time, because it's just like the Make in Bharat defense sector. What we have seen during Operation Sindoor, with much less money, with much stronger technical understanding of things, India could build an air defense system which was far better than anyone in the world. So I think India has a technology, India has the brains and the mind and the skill set. I think we should go for it.
Yeah. So, Deshi, coming to the next point, and regarding Ajit Doval and National Security Advisor Ajit
Hmm.
Doval asserted that India has been able to effectively counter terrorism, claiming that the last major incident happened in 2013 with Jammu and Kashmir as an exception. Doval said the entire country has remained secure from terrorist attacks. So, this is a huge statement coming from Ajit Doval.
Yeah, and it is the most accurate statement actually, because really nothing has happened. I mean, like if you were looking at like before 2014, there was attack happening every month, like really big attacks happening every month, and there was no stopping to it. Whether it was in Ahmedabad or Delhi or Bombay, everywhere the attacks were happening, and they had risen to a point where a foreign, power like Pakistan could actually train, people in commando, military grade tactics, send those people to India to actually capture or take over an entire city, the biggest city in like in the country. That was, uh, people keep calling it a terror attack. That was never a terror attack. That was an act of war. It was an act of war, and I don't know why India never retaliated for that, because India should have. And these kind of things have stopped. But more importantly, like what we need to understand is that these kind of attacks, like it's not like they have tried to stop those attacks. I mean, uh, Pakistan has not brought its entire thing down. Like it is still, trying to instigate and create those kind of attacks all the time. It's the strength of the Indian intelligence which has stopped that, because they have, whether it's a human intelligence, how they may have infiltrated different areas, including Pakistan, because we remember there was a time when, like one of the spies, I think his name was Rajinder Singh or something like that, like I think like that kind of name. He actually had become a major in Pakistan's army itself, and he was able to carry out a lot of espionage activities there. And Mr. Doval himself stayed in Pakistan for 7 years and did a lot of things. So he knows how things can be done within Pakistan so as to anticipate things that they could orchestrate within India. So whether it is, the unknown gunmen like doing whatever they are doing in Pakistan, or people who are not able to do anything within India, you know, it's like when you actually go and see, what happened to like in that village near Bombay, like south of Bombay, right, where that whole like village was supposed to be almost like an ISIS center, and they were planning really large attacks, and the entire thing was brought out very very effectively. Yes, it took, they almost like took it to a point where they had almost finalized their plans. I think that was the aim, that was the objective, to let them do everything so that anyone who comes in contact with those people can be, one, identified, second, monitored, and then surveilled for their entire journey. So that more and more people can be identified who are in this kind of a business. And whether it was Pahalgam, even though they were using the Chinese equipment, and they were almost, I mean, that equipment rendered them almost incommunicado in terms of the intelligence agencies that India have in terms of how they're trying to do the surveillance. India was still able to identify them. And that is the key, that the intelligence network within India and outside India has increased substantially now. So he's right that the terror attacks have not happened outside of Jammu and Kashmir, and that is because the the rigor of the work that India's agencies are doing is phenomenal. This kind of work has not happened, I would say, even outside India. It is the first time that I would say India's intelligence agencies are now working at almost power, at the same power with rest of the main intelligence agencies outside, and it's not easy. I know, R.N. Kao actually set these things up, and he was like a legend. And India's spies and intelligence agencies have had the skill set, but this is the first time that they are so successful that they have countered almost every threat before it fructified.
Yeah. So also, Desh, ji, if you remember that there was a blast in Rameshwaram Cafe in Bengaluru in 2024. Rameshwaram Cafe is a very popular cafe in Bengaluru, in Indranagar. The incident happened in 2024, and it was the accused guy. He was connected with the ISIS, and the blast was caused by a low intensity improvised explosive device, and that was kept in a customer's bag. So this happened in 2024, and one thing is very certain that you have all these sleeper cells in India, which is very difficult for the intelligence to preempt if all these kind of attacks, the low intensity attacks, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, that is true. And see, the thing is, unfortunately, the government there was such that, the Congress government that is out there, Siddharamaia's, it's, they run their own like agendas within their state. Just like it happens in Bengal. Bengal, it is very tough to actually get the work done by the Indian agencies. They openly threaten them with death and with killing and all those things. And the local law enforcement, like basically is with the Bengaluru police, and the entire regional bomb squad and the rest of the response that happened during the Bengaluru blast was actually like with them, with the locals and state law enforcement agencies. And it's very tough when such things happen for the larger intelligence, like say, NIA or RAW or CBI, to actually take over and to take control of things. So those become soft targets, and it is if only Congress had been a little more law abiding, and also uh, you know uh, like responsible for like the country itself, because they have not been. They have almost always betrayed India. They have almost always betrayed the Indian citizen, whether it was 26/11 or before that or after that. That has always been the pattern. Now we know that in 20, for 26/11, a lot of things that happened actually uh, were, some say, almost in collaboration, like with the Indian government itself, because those kind of things should not have happened. Even the arrest of say Lieutenant Colonel Purohit, who was a military intelligence officer and who had actually infiltrated the LET and known about this 26/11 at that time, he was picked up just 15 days before the attack because of the work that he was doing. And then he was actually painted as a terrorist without any evidence, without any conviction, for so many years. The so this Congress party lacks any kind of moral or ethical bone in them to actually continue as even an opposition party. And it's a shame that people in Karnataka actually elected them, because knowing their background, knowing their entire track record, uh, these kind of things will happen elsewhere as well. So people in Bihar should be careful about what they are trying to do, because people should remember the Jungle Raj. their basic character, basic morality will never change. It will always remain the same. So, so if India needs to be safe and successful, then India needs to make sure that these kind of hyenas are not elected again.
Yeah, so I do hope that especially with the way the whole gold incident in Sabrimala, the theft case, the people in Kerala at least will uh, make their effort to vote for BJP next year. I do hope.
Right. Because Kerala is actually a very strange place because it has so many different agendas running and at a very, very deep level, whether it is the Islamists or the communists or the Christian evangelists, they all try to run their agendas, and we know that they are linked and sometimes even funded and bought by the Western or the at least the foreign agencies. So it'll be tough in Kerala. It'll be very very tough in Bengal as well. I hope next time at least Karnataka changes direction.
Yeah. So coming to the last point, which is quite controversial, is that a criticism happened about Vance, the wife of JD Vance, the vice president of US, and he said that she may one day see things as see, I do, and that with regards to her plans to convert to Christianity, and so he added that the US cannot have an immigration policy. What was good for the country 50 or 60 years ago, which binds it forever, and arguing that high immigration levels, is a huge concern and all those things. So, it is quite apparent that, the MAGA community, they are not, they're very staunch Christians, and, they don't like to see people of another faith, being elected at top positions in the US.
Right. Yeah, that their their level of fanaticism has shocked me as well. Because I know that they are fanatics, but at such levels and such depth, this is something that has totally shocked me. Because even Usha, her name was Chilukuri earlier on, she would have been duped as well. Now she would be feeling that like she was duped by JD Vance, like into a marriage where she has no say about how her children could be raised. She comes from a Telugu Vediki Brahmin family of Andhra Pradesh. Her grandfather had made a trek to Varanasi on foot to study Vedas himself, and the entire family were very proficient, has been scholars of Gita and Sanskrit. So today, when JD Vance starts to say that she's an atheist and this and that, that's all bullshit. She's not. She is a proud Hindu. Now, how long she can remain like that is like something that people have to see. Whether she, some are saying, and this seems logical to me because the way it is happening, nobody's tries to throw his own spouse under the bus just for politics in such a public way, the way he did it, and that was very very sad. Because I and many MAGA people have said this, and today also I was like looking, and there are people again and again who are saying that, look, what will JD Vance do? Because the MAGA crowd and the MAGA electorate will never ever accept Usha, never accept Usha, because both her ethnicity and her religion. One, she's Indian, and second, she's Hindu. Forget about the Hindus. I'm saying even Dinesh D'Souza, who's a hardcore fanatic right-wing Christian, He is being targeted by MAGA people, and he doesn't know why he's being targeted, because they are saying, you are basically an Indian and we want you out. Despite him targeting the Hindus so blatantly all the time. And so for them, it is not just Christian itself that is important. What is important is they want a Christian who is white as well. And that's the level that they have gone to. In many ways, there is no difference now left between MAGA and the ISIS. They both are the same. It's just the MAGA people are still not being able to do all that ISIS does. At least their intention is such. Mindset wise, they are no different now. The way they actually think and discuss about the other people, they are blatantly racist now, at least overtly now. I mean, they might have been talking about in their drawing rooms, which is or dining a table, which is a different thing. But at least overtly, the way they are talking about is just phenomenal. And many commentators, it's not coming out in the Indian press. Maybe at least even the MAGA crowd on Twitter has been talking about how Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife, she met with when she hugged JD Vance, how she held his head, how she ran her hands in his hair and all that, and how they both were hugging each other, and how she was talking about JD Vance, that how he was how she respected and loved Charlie, and the only other person who comes close to him was JD Vance. And now the MAGA crowd is saying, well, maybe they are getting ready to actually replace Usha with Erica as his wife going forward. So you never know how these things play. I don't know whether it's it's conspiracy theory to even talk like this, but MAGA crowd has been talking like this for quite some time now. So is that what they wish? At least the way JD Vance threw his own wife under the bus, almost making sure that she actually converts. If she doesn't, then she's thrown out of the marriage. If that is his intention, then I think he is actually getting ready to replace her, because with her by her side, even as a Christian, because she's an Indian, it will become unacceptable to the MAGA crowd.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see how things move forward. So it was a wonderful session, Deshji, and we will see you again next week. Until then, Jai Hind and Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Hind, Jai Shri Ram. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.